Welcome back to Flowers in the Springtime. How you doing? Couldn't keep myself away for very long. It's only been a couple hours since I recorded the last episode, but I had to get back in. I gotta know what's going on. I'm just as excited as you probably are for what is to become of our girl Mayuri. And what happened to Yuzuriha? What happened? Who had the cojones to actually attack someone? That's messed up. Like, if somebody even got attacked, for all we know, it could just be an accident, and then this is just all a great big misunderstanding. But things not looking so great for our girl Mayuri right now. We did some investigating of our own, and apparently we didn't come up with much. So that's where we're gonna dive right on back into things. I need to know. I gotta find out. I want my girl to be okay. We didn't find anything, murmurs Ichigo as she washes my arm. Aww. Just here getting touchy-feely in a bath with the delightfully cute sisters. I answer Ichigo, perhaps wanting to look after me, has declared she would wash me and is washing my arm for me.
でも見つからないっていうのが逆におかしくない？頭の怪我は少しの怪我でも血が出るって本当でしょ？だったら桜並木からエントランス付近までの間に血の跡がない方がおかしいよ。
Like, it didn't bleed a lot. At least the two that I had, the first one, which was a pretty heavy concussion, it didn't really bleed much except for the fact that we get the point of impact, and then the second concussion was mostly, there was no blood at all. I don't know, I think looking for blood might be looking for a bit much, but she did look all beat up, so, man, whatever happened to her, she got walloped good, that's for sure, though. She's right, I think. If she was injured to the point of losing consciousness, there should have been lots of blood.
実は伝え忘れていたことがあったのです。
What you got for me, Ringo? Ringo has finished washing her hair and comes over to me. She deliberately lathers up some soap and takes my free arm and starts washing. Good lord! Just getting the Queen's treatment here. Yeah, she can't take this. This is too much!
保健の先生から聞いていたことだけど話し忘れていたのですよ。八代先輩はエントランスで倒れていた時スポーツタオルを持っていてそれで頭を押さえていたって。だからなんだそれじゃあ血が滴っていなくてもおかしくないじゃん。ごめん。
Ringo droops when reproached by her sister. I comfort her as she continues washing my arm, telling her it's fine since it was not just blood that I was looking for.
どういうこと？私が小見門先輩に連れられて保健室に行った際、目を引くものがあったの。
The clay, right?
八代先輩が寝かされていたベッドの下に置いてあった靴と。
Yeah, they were covered with dirt.
土で覆われていた。靴についていた土と桜並木での土が一致するか調べていたわけ。
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
でもそれって
Like that's that's the train of thought that I thought we were going on when she wanted to go check out the cherry trees. That's what I thought. No. When Ringo asks why, she repeats that it's a predicament.
この学院って敷地内は基本的に芝生か石畳が敷き詰められているよね。靴底に土がついてたってことは襲われた場所は土がむき出しのところだったってことでしょ。
The greenhouse? Like that's the... Like if we're gonna talk dirt, like that's the best place that you're gonna find dirt.
桜並木の場所は芝生で覆われていないし余計に怪しく思われるんじゃないかな。
So... She got attacked or had an accident in the greenhouse?
靴についていた土のことは黙っていた方が賢明だね。そうね。
The situation is not going in Mayuri's favor. The Sasakis, who believe in Mayuri's innocence, grow quiet and stop washing me. Ichigo, who's now in low spirits, judges that they're done washing me and proceeds to rinse me off with the shower. As I sit there in silence, Ringo murmurs, but...
状況証拠だけ見ると、まゆりさんが怪しいのは確かだけど、やっぱりまゆりさんが
I just don't see it. Like, there's nothing that would indicate there was any tension between those two.
どうして？だって動機がないもの。普通人を殴るなんてよほどのことがない限りしないことです。
I mean, they do sometimes, but those are, I think, usually exceptionally rare cases.
まゆりさんと八代先輩の間に暴行事件になるような動機があったとは思えない。
I've thought the same thing.
まあ、部も違うし、クラス委員長でもないから頻繁に顔を合わせる間柄でもないしね。喧嘩するようなほどの関係でもないか。
For feelings towards someone to turn to hate requires a close, intimate relationship to start with. Let's take Rika, for instance. Quarrels and violence don't happen between mere acquaintances. I laugh as I imagine Yatsushiro and Mayuri improbably as mafia thugs. I think that if there are any two characters that's probably a pretty appropriate visual for, it's probably Mayuri and Yatsushiro. I think you could make that work with Erika too. Like, I could absolutely see her being the mastermind.
ほら、スオちゃんが笑うほどありえない話なんだよ。そうか。だよね。私たちはユリを信じてあげなくちゃ。
Absolutely we do. As I smile at the twins, burning with passion, I hit upon the possibility of a motive that would push Mayuri to hurt Yatsushiro. But how would... maybe. If Yatsushiro somehow knew about Mayuri's sexuality and was going to tell people, why would, Yatsushiro, wouldn't give a shit. Yatsushiro would find out that Mayuri's gay and be all over that shit. I think it's a bit of a flimsy motive. I just don't see it. And I also just don't see Yatsushiro as this type of person that, even if she did find out, I don't think she would care. I mean, could Rika have actually just been trying to start that rumor then and there with Yatsushiro? Was she trying to start the rumor with the upperclassmen? I feel like with the way this game is going, me being on Rika being the shitter here is probably not the right track. I don't know that they're willing to go that far. I think that the blackmail relationship is a completely different story and it's pretty rough in and of itself, but I don't know that they would go as far as complete letting her commit violence or having her do something real shitty that ended up with somebody being injured. I just don't see it. It is not impossible. No, she wouldn't. I murmur as if I spit out something bitter as I watch droplets from my hair fall onto the towel. I am full of regret. As Rika had once said, she is intelligent and thoughtful, yet aloof. She has a strong personality and wouldn't let herself be hurt by anyone. That is why, without her even asking, all I'd wanted to do was clear up the misunderstanding surrounding her as soon as possible. But I now realize that she, Mayuri Kosaka, is no different from us. She's just a girl.
来てくれたんだ。
I can tell how weary she is just from her voice. My footsteps are faint, quickly swallowed by the darkness. Her shape detaches itself from the shadows, and her expression tells me she's going to say exactly what I predicted.
二人とも呼び出してすまない。でも部屋で明日の予習の合間に。
I don't like this. You're leaving, aren't you? You're gonna drop out. You're going to fucking drop out. Then, for some reason, she smiles softly.
私
Oh, here we go.
聖母役を
Yep.
辞退しようと思っているんだ。
Well, you're not dropping out of school at least, but yeah. This does feel like something that was set up to like make her either be thrown out of the role as Virgin Mary or to make her be so stressed that she just quits.
何を言っているの？
Shut up. Just shut up. Don't even act like you care. Rika says resolutely, but there's a quiver to her voice. Rika and I had not been treating her as a girl our own age. We treated her as transcendental, untouchable. That is why we are unable to be ourselves in front of her now in her weakened state. Oh, it's decided, is it? She mutters, the corners of her mouth contorting.
確かに私は聖母役の大役を受けた。だが今はあの時とは状況が違う。私は神に仕える順法者ではなく裏切り者のユダに等しい。八代先輩を襲った犯人だと疑われているから。疑われている？随分優しいことを言ってくれるね。
Yeah, like as flowery and cheerful as you may think, everybody kind of like, they're not saying it out loud, but usually like when things like this happen, everybody just kind of has a first impression and they roll with it. Rika is rendered speechless by these unexpectedly self-deprecating words and looks at Mayuri with pity in her eyes. Yeah? Wouldn't be wrong! Wow, on the nose there. Let's get it all out in the open. Let's just tackle this. Let's just do it. Yep. Nah, don't even. You can't. No, don't.
ないか？私にはそう思えなかった。私を見る立花の目は
Observant.
神々しいものに見えていたんだよ。
Glad we're playing this way. I'm glad that like she's been aware of this since it happened. She's known. Perhaps Rika can't refute what Mayuri says as she looks down at the ground, her eyes filled with a jumble of emotions.
それだ。君をそうさせてしまうことが辛いんだ。
It's not your fault. You just wanted something. She's holding back a torrent of emotions, which is on the verge of bursting out of her. She looks to Rika, then to me.
スオさんには以前語ったことがあるけれど。
Oh, wow.
少し昔語りを聞いてくれるかな。
Oh, boy. With that, she begins talking about her past, a story she's already told me.
両親が離婚して自暴自棄になった私へと父は家政婦を雇い入れた。あの頃の私は今思い返してみてもひどく乱暴でいけすかない子供だった。
Mayuri tells the story of the courageous nanny who raised her. Yes. The conclusion of this story is
以前と同じように振る舞えるようになれた頃には私はその人を好きになっていたんだ。
Mayuri's earnest voice, as she lays bare the past she'd been trying to hide, pulls Rika's gaze from the floor. She looks into Mayuri's eyes as she awaits her next words.
私が好きな相手というのはね、女性だ。君とよく似た。ね。どうだい？
救えない話だろ。
This is interesting. I don't know where we're going here. Seeing her trying to find the words to say, Mayuri smiles cynically.
私はリカ、君に好きだったあの人の面影を見
You
てい
could
たんだ。
see how this would be so utterly complicated for her, because even though she didn't set out to hurt Rika, you know, she did, and she probably sees herself as like in her mind she can probably justify everything Rika feels toward her, and that sucks, dude, because she thinks that she hurt her in a way that, I mean, she did hurt her in that way, but it wasn't intentional. But it means a lot more to Mayuri having done that, because it feels like a betrayal of the person she originally loved as well. She feels like that's probably all she can do, is hurt people she loves.
学院に入り、思いは捨て去ったと思っていたけれど、君と仲良くなればなるほど、あの人と同一視してしまった。だから他の旧友が君と仲良くしているのを見て嫉妬したこともある。
I recall the conversation I'd overheard between her and Rika in the bath.
あの時の言葉の真意は
Yep.
そうさ、嫉妬だ。スオさんと交際すると聞いて胸をかきむしられるほどに苦しみ、
This is so messed up, man.
そして聖母役を奪ったことで憎悪の目を向けられた。私は
Oh,
私はもう
God.
耐えられないんだ。
Rika, you have to make this right. This is not right at all. You have to make this right.
だからも
Oh,
う降りても
don't cry.
聖母なんてものを
Sweet little child, you didn't do anything wrong. She moves forward imploringly, walking toward Rika on unsteady legs. She looks like an infant taking its first step toward her mother, and also like a ghost. Rika takes a step back, feeling the pressure as Mayuri draws near. Her refusal to accept her is obvious in her posture. Mayuri stops dead in her tracks, her expression sorrowful as a wolf howling at the moon.
そうか。
このままじゃ
It can't. No, it can't. Suo, you. Oh, God, please. Oh, God. Oh, boy, I'm really invested here, huh? Oh, my word.
自分でも受け入れられないんだ。そんな私を受け入れてもらおうな
Ah,
んて。
it's so fucking hard, dude. Oh.
まゆりさんは私のようになってしまう。
Her resigned expression says she's given up on everything. She has nothing left.
私が憧れた人に
Suo, you have to do something. Suo, sweetie baby, please.
すまなかった。
No!
待って。
Enduring the feeling that the lid is about to come off the container I'd forced my memories of my stepmother onto, I call out to stop Mayuri as she turns away. As if noticing my presence for the first time, she mutters an apology.
二度もつまらない話を聞かせてしまった。君には関係のないことなのにね。
I don't want her to end up like me.
関係ないことなんてない。
何を？
私たちはアミティ。いえ、そんな綺麗事はやめましょう。私はまゆりさんに憧れていた。私はあなたになりたかった。
Weighed down by the pain and my childhood memories, with a feeling akin to despair, I start to speak. Come on, baby, we believe in you. God, I want you to do this so much. Come on.
まゆりさんは 自分の過去を吐露し、受け入れられないと言っていたけれど、私にとってあなたの過去は自分と似ているの。だから拒絶なんてしないわ。
似ている。口から出任せを言わないでくれ。
A reasonable response.
王室でまゆりさんは私の言葉を聞いたでしょう。王室で何を？
Mayuri saw and heard me begging my stepmother for forgiveness. She opens her mouth but closes it again as if biting the air.
私もね、まゆりさん、片親で育てられているの。5歳の時に母と死別し、2年間ほど。そして7歳の時、父は母と再婚した。連れ子である兄と一緒に白羽の家のものになったわ。そう、母に私はピアノを習ったのよ。
音楽家だったっていうお母さん。
When I look over at the piano in the cathedral, my stepmother is there, sneering at me.
1年ほどは仲睦まじく、とは言えなくとも平凡な家庭として過ごしたわ。でも私がピアノを習い始めたことで崩れていったの。兄と私は母に指示しピアノを習った。兄の方が演奏歴は長かったのだけど、私は要領が良かったのね。すぐある程度は弾けるようになった。父も喜んだし、私も誇らしかった。
You were better than her son. I stop to take a breath, look away from my sneering stepmother, and smile at Rika, who is looking on with frightened eyes.
私が上手に弾きこなせばこなすほど指導は厳しくなった。
でもそれは上手になってほしいという教えだったのでしょ。
No, it was punishment. I force a smile and Rika goes silent. Perhaps she's figured out the answer. The only one sneering at me in the shadow, standing just behind her.
都合3年、ピアノの指導は続いた。ようやく父が異変に気づいた時には、私は
Her eyes, which have seen my body in the bath, glimmer with suspicion. But Mayuri, who had seen me in the greenhouse, her lips move slightly, forming the words, "Her wounds are on her heart."
肉体的なものではないわ。心が病んでしまったのよ。母がいなくなって数年経つけれど、今もピアノの前に立つと、私はあの人の影を見てしまう。おしんを覚えるほどに。
だからあの時ピアノから逃げて。
She looks at me aghast. She must be remembering the first time we visited the choir club.
どうしようもなく母の影を感じてしまうと、ピアノの前に立つと、あの時の指導を思い出してしまう。こらえきれない嫌悪感があふれ、おしんがこみ上げてきてしまうの。
Rika looks terrified. Mayuri, in contrast, is staring at me as though she finally understood something.
私が絶対に漏らしたくなかった秘密は、泣いていた過去の自分。
そんな嘘。スオさん。
You and I have the same wounds, I think I hear her whisper, her lips trembling slightly. After confessing this thing that I not only didn't want to, but couldn't tell anyone, I feel a strange excitement, followed by a sense of relief. You've taken a step toward healing, girl. Enjoy that. Embrace it, and continue to do it. relief that I've finally been able to admit it.
ねえ、まゆりさん、リッカ、あなたたちは私を受け入れてくれるかしら。
Good way to turn that around. I like that. I don't know why, but my lips turn into a smile. Mayuri's sorrowful expression remains unchanged, and Rika closes her eyes and staggers backward, as though unable to bear it anymore. Yes, I had expected this. Pity from Mayuri, who bears the same wounds, and respectable Rika, who probably can't accept me.
自分が抱えている傷を知られるのが怖い。
It scares me even more now that we're not just amitié partners, but real friends. Rika, with her eyes and mouth shut, even after I told her I wanted to break off the relationship, that she continued to think of me fondly made me happy, but...
すまない。私の告白が
No,
追い詰めてしまった
I
んだ
think
ね。
it's more something that needed to happen.
まゆりさんがここで告白していなかったのなら、
You were brave enough to share a very, very big piece of your world with us,
ずっとしまい込んでいたと思う。
and she finally felt that she could let some of her world go as well. Mayuri goes silent as Rika at my words. She makes a sad face and I smile at her.
でもね、私が自分のことを告白したのは、まゆりさんを擁護するためではないの。私自身のエゴのた
It's
め
for
に。
me.
さっきも話したけれど、まゆりさんは私の憧れ。ああなりたいと思う姿そのものだった。
私なんて
過去を抱えながらしっかりとした子を持ち、みんなから慕われている。余計に憧れるし、すごいことだわ。私はね、まゆりさん、あなたが今ここで全てを失っては諦めてしまったら、あなたを目指していた私も終わってしまう。そう感じたのよ。
Perhaps because of my intentional cheeriness, her sorrowful expression slowly crumbles, and she smiles fleetingly.
私を立ち直らせるのは自分のためか。
I mean, maybe that's selfish, but
そう。だから聖母役を降りるなんて言わないで。
yeah.
私が目指せるあなたでいてほしいの。
I feel that it is better to push my ego forward than offer clumsy sympathy. However, Mayuri's faint smile remains. Even if I would do it, people at the academy wouldn't allow it, she mutters.
だから私たちで八代先輩を襲った犯人を
We got this. We got this. Investigation team is on it.
私たち
That includes me, Rika says, who is watching us uneasily, and I nod.
アミティエが三人制なのはきっと一人がつまずいた時支えてあげるためのものだと思うの。
I hadn't considered that take. I will be the first to admit I'm the dummy that did not consider that.
一人よりも二人で支えた方が倒れずに立ち上がれるでしょ。
Mayuri smiles at my words, and Rika blinks. Then, her tense expression softening, Rika says that she has told everyone in class. Mayuri steps forward, takes my hand, and turns that smile I've yearned for, the one like spring sunshine, on me. She looks into my eyes, and my tear ducts start to prickle hotly.
ありがとう。
I don't know why I'm about to cry, but I bow my head slightly and I feel the warmth from her body. It was gorgeous. It was an absolutely beautiful way to settle that moment.
とうとう
All right, let's go. You're in the same badger hole as me, Yaegaki laughs as she narrows her cat eyes.
誤解を解くには仕方がないわ。それに、八代先輩のためでもあるのだもの。
They'll understand if we break the rules a little, I say.
たくましくなったもんだな。
Ah, she's liking the mischief. You like hanging around me now, admit it. I'm a rebel just like you. With her mean, cat-like smile on her face, she looks to Mayuri Kosaka and Rika Hanabishi, and then spins her wheels around. My amitié partners are looking guilty as they follow after her. The squeaks of her wheelchair sound just like a bat. We advance nervously up the slope to the top floor, worrying that we'll be spotted by a guard or other members of staff. Don't worry, it's not happened yet. I wouldn't worry too much. The adults in this story are only responsible when they have to be, and as we have observed, I think so far in this 25 hour adventure, it's not a whole lot. The reason why we, who should be in class since it's a weekday afternoon, are sneaking stealthily down the dorm hallway is because it is critical to finding Yuzuriha Yatsushiro's assailant, as we had declared we would yesterday. According to information from a classmate, Yatsushiro was hit on the back of the head with a long, square instrument. Sakura was the last word she spoke before she passed out, and there were 3 older students with Sakura in their names. Then, when there were suspicions about the place it happened, when Mayuri was cleaning around the cherry trees, Sister Basquiat saw her between 5 and 6. Finally, there was the red dirt on the shoes I'd seen in the nurse's office. I shared all this information with my amitié partners. And the conclusion we'd arrived at from all this intelligence was...
本当に大丈夫なのよね。何がだい、委員長。八代先輩の部屋のことよ。八代ゆずりはの部屋に忍び込むための算段だろ。大丈夫だって。ちゃんと部屋の鍵は。
See, there ain't no adults around here. She stops and pulls out an old key she's been sitting on, holding it up for us all to see. Erica's always got a plan. You are totally into this right now. Right. After we put our heads together, we arrived at the question of whether or not Yuzuriha Yatsushiro had any enemies. She'd been hit on the back of the head with a long rectangular object, so she must have been attacked by someone. If it wasn't Mayuri, that must mean there is some other culprit who hit Yatsushiro.
今日同室のアミティエが風邪で休みとかいうオチはないよね。
それも下調べ済みだって。部屋に誰かいるなら打ち合わせ通り寮で落ち合った時に初めに話してるっての。
Yatsushiro is popular and well-liked. However, people who are popular are also resented by others. As we discussed before, violence doesn't breed without the fertile ground of a close relationship, but with someone as popular as Yatsushiro, it's possible that the intimate feelings were one-sided.
とにかくさっさと行こうぜ。この時間、寮館はバスキア教諭の趣味に付き合っている時間だからな。
ダリア先生の趣味って？
自分と同じ名前の花を育てているんだよ。ダリアさ。笑えるだろ。ほら温室のリンゴの木のそばにあるやつだよ。
Unlike the other plants, they are growing neatly in a flower bed. Are there others? Mayuri says in a surprised voice.
確か農場のそばにもあったような気が。
へえ、それは知らないけどさ。何でも賞を取るんだとかなんとか言っていたな。寮館も花好きだから、この時間は水やり高に行ってるって話さ。
If that's the case, she probably shouldn't be back before we've finished searching the room.
ねえ、おしゃべりはそれくらいにして早く行きましょう。
Rika rushes us and we hurry off to Yatsushiro's room.
おい、本を落とすなって。置いてあった場所をちゃんと記憶しておけよ。
Sounded like you've done this before.
順番間違えて気づかれるとかバカがやることだからな。
Rika nods meekly at Yaigaki's veteran words and puts the book back where she'd found it. The layout of the room and the placement of her belongings isn't that different from that of us first years. The only major differences seem to be the books they're reading and the smell of the room. Yeah, looking for the threatening letter. Bitch, I'm gonna knock you out with a 2x4 in the greenhouse. Not the greenhouse, dude, near the sakura trees. Mayuri gives an ambivalent smile at Yaigaki, who's chuckling. Rika, who's been searching the clothes in the chest of drawers, admonishes the two of them. Oh, calm down, nerd. We got this. I see Yaigaki stick out her tongue in my peripheral vision. I've been searching the desk, and when I check my watch, I feel the same sense of urgency. We all got sick, y'all. Can you believe it? What are the odds? We lied to Sister Basquiat and skipped class. We must finish our search before class ends. What you looking for, sweetie? Rika turns her eyes to the notebooks on the desk and frowns guiltily at them. Yeah, it kinda is. That Rika, who is a stickler for rules and order, had volunteered to sneak into Yatsushiro's room. I rushed to pick up the magazine I'd dropped then. I look at the soccer magazine, an unusual thing for a girl to have. Then I remember what Ichigo said before. Okay. I asked Rika if she remembers the conversation we had with Ichigo. I feel a nagging sense of impatience. There's something. The answer is right on the tip of my tongue. Right. I should go back to the question at the beginning of all this. Oh. Based on my oh God, hold on. Hold on. I'm not getting Mayuri thrown out of school. Alright, based on my experience, first of all, is this an incident or an accident? She had an accident. Nothing really adds up to her being attacked. Right. We wouldn't get anywhere without settling that. Next, I should consider the location. The red dirt on her shoes, I can deduce it from there. Where did Yatsushiro get injured? In the greenhouse. And finally, the meaning of the word she spoke. Sakura, what does it mean? She got injured, she left a clue. Sakura is not the name, but a nickname. Sakura is code for another word. It's one of these two. And since she wasn't attacked, she wouldn't have a reason to be saying somebody's name, so it's code for a different word. Oh my Christ.
こっちはこっちでなんか集中しているし。
I can hear their exchange, but it does not register. The feeling of impatience, of something on the tip of my tongue.
いちごさんと話していた時、サッカー談義で何を話していたっけ？え？ああ、確か。
Oh,
ク
okay.
ラスみんなを集めてやってみようって。
なんだ？
クラス内で
I don't think it was bullying at all. I think she fucking goofed up and actually fucking injured herself.
茶化さないの。
そうじゃなくて、他に何か。
I press her impatiently, and Rika says that there was something about a horse. The moment she says it, the lid on my memories is flung wide open.
そうだ。専門用語。
It's the lingo, the Charlie horse!
サッカーのプレー中に接触プレーで内ももに蹴りが入ってしまった
Yeah,
と
the Charlie horse.
ももカンだって話していた。
そうだわ。確かその後、飲食店であの虫
Yeah, you'd say number 5. So yeah, it's like, yeah, it's code word.
とか話したわよね。
なんだそりゃ。トリビアを思い出せなかったってだけかよ。
That's dumb, Yaigaki says as she puts her hands behind her head and turns to look out the window.
喉から出てこなかったことか。
The knowledge of gardening my father taught me before. I put the fallen magazine back where it was and, like Yaigaki, gaze out the window in the direction of the row of cherry trees.
シロ先輩が言った言葉の謎が分かったわ。
You did it!
本当に？あとは靴に残った土の謎だけ。それが分かれば襲った犯人も分かる。
My amitié partners let out a gasp of surprise, and then I asked them to help me in the final step. Together, we set out to solve the mystery of the red dirt. All right, y'all. If you ever wanted to solve a red dirt mystery in a visual novel, I got you! Literally the best YouTuber on the planet. After class, we haven't had a tea party in a while, and the entire class is there, including Erika Yaigaki, who barely ever joins. Then,
しました。
a clear voice calls out to us.
お茶会に招いていただいて嬉しいわ。
Miss Basquiat, how you doing? Perhaps she doesn't understand the objective of this tea party, but the tension in the air eases as Sister Basquiat clasps her hands before her chest in greeting. Everyone bows their head back in greeting. Then,
全員集まったようね。久しぶりのお茶会だけど、今日はこれから。
but today we're here to solve the murder.
私たちの出し物に付き合ってもらう。
Mayuri, who'd remained hidden until now, appears, and noise returns to the silent scene.
出し物というのは？
私が出てきたことで察してくれたとは思いますが、八代ゆずりは先輩の件ですよ。を出した犯人は
Way to just put it out
私たち
there.
と目されている事件です。
The chattering grows louder, and Sister Basquiat folds her arms in front of her chest as though holding her abundant bosom. How does she keep her titties from falling out? I cannot possibly hold on to all this titty. No one? Are you sure about that?
ありがとうございます。でもそれはダリア先生だけですよ。ここにいるみんなは私を犯人だと思っている。いや、半々くらいの割合でかな。
Hey, show of hands! Who here thinks that Mayuri's the murderer? Mayuri speaks lightheartedly, and our classmate regard her suspiciously, while Sister Dahlia looks at her with pity.
ともかくこのまま誤解を受け続けるのは、アミティエとして許せるものではありません。
The die is cast.
だからこの場で釈明の機会をいただきたいのです。
You created this opportunity just by yourself?
釈明だなんて。私は
I really hope that's true. Sister Basquiat's lost her voice. Sister Basquiat's lost voice is drowned out by an optimistic voice saying, "Why not?"
面白そうだし、お茶会の余興だと思って聞くのもありなんじゃない？
that these adorable twins enjoy the show.
そうそう、出し物だって言っているし。
Now that the Sasakis have agreed to it, the eyes of everyone in the class turn from suspicious to interested. There isn't much in the way of entertainment at the academy. Perhaps they feel there's no harm in listening. After receiving Sister Basquiat's begrudging assent, I step forward to take center stage. With all eyes on me, I summon up my courage and start to speak.
そもそもなぜまゆりさんが疑われることになったのか、そこからこの事件を紐解いてみましょう。
I tell everyone. The day of the incident, Yuzuriha Yatsushiro was discovered collapsed before the entrance. Oh my god, she got it good! The wound on her head, the sports towel pressed against that wound, and shoes covered in red clay in the nurse's office. Man, she got whumped! Holy shit! Yeah, no way she doesn't have a concussion. Then the word she said, Sakura. How the students with Sakura in their names had been interrogated. But since they all had alibis, the next guess was the place, and everyone's attention shifted to the place with the cherry trees. Then, the time frame during which Yuzuriha Yatsushiro was attacked, I explained the sequence of events that led to Mayuri, who'd been cleaning around the cherry trees between 5 and 6, coming under suspicion.
悪いんだけど、今の話を聞いたら、ユリが怪しいって
you
思う
playing
の
along.
普通なんじゃないかな。
Many people agree with Ichigo's assessment of my story so far, and their scrutinizing gazes become even sharper. However,
そうかしら。私は今の話を聞いたとき、そもそも八代先輩がなぜ桜並木にいたのかや、先輩が持っていたスポーツタオルに不審を抱いたわ。だって、そんなものを持って桜並木に行っても仕方ないでしょ。それは確かにそう。
I have a phone call to take. Give me just a moment. All right, 3, 2, 1, check back in. All right. A sprinkling of people agree with Ringo. However, Ichigo raises her voice and claps her hands.
そういえば、先輩はサッカーにハマっていたって聞いてるよ。だから邪魔されないように桜並木の場所で練習していたんじゃないかな。それだったらスポーツタオルを持っていたっておかしくないよね。
At Ichigo's words, I set down the cup I'd been taking a sip from. When Ichigo, who's coming down from her excitement, sees Rika's expression, she mutters an apology.
確かに八代先輩がサッカーに興味を持っていたというのは本当です。その情報は私も知っていた。以前いちごさんから聞いたことですから。そうなの？そういえば話した記憶が。
You remember the library? You're doing good here, kid.
以前いちごさんから話してきたんですよ。みんなで今度やってみようって。その話の中でモモカンという専門用語の話も出て。確かに言ったね。サッカーの用語で
Getting hit in the thigh.
接触プレイした時内ももを蹴ってしまうことだって言っていたわ。
Yeah, that's it, hoots Ichigo. From this jargon, I arrived at a theory, I say to Sister Basquiat, who is furrowing her brows.
見解。私は八代先輩が言った桜がという言葉を聞いて初めから不可解だと思っていたのです。それはわからないわ。どうして？推理小説でないのだから普通誰かに殴られたのだとしたら見知っていた人物の場合
She was literally telling you she had a Charlie horse. Like, yo, doc, my leg, it hurts real bad. Along with my head, which is bleeding profusely. Now that we've seen how she ended up.
わからなかった場合として犯人の目立つ容姿の特徴もしくは私の名前を言うかもしれない。だから桜並木なのでしょ。
I shake my head and tell her she's wrong. Not only Sister Basquiat, but the entire class is looking at me. I push back the feelings rising within me.
犯人の名前を言えなかった八代先輩が言ったのは場所。これは正しい。でも事件現場となったのは桜並木の場所ではなかったんです。
Listening very closely to the Japanese track right now.
その場所って王室です。
I say decisively as she blinks at me in confusion. My classmates do the same. Sister Basquiat looks shaken. I tell her about the theory I formed formed from what I saw in Yatsushiro's room.
バスキア教諭へ話したことがありましたが、私は祖父が園芸が好きでよく手伝わされていたんです。ええ、以前伺ったことがあるわ。温室での鉢植えを手伝ってもらったことがありますものね。でも
What has that got to do with anything? I know she's about to ask. But in order to convince her, I must have her listen to a little more of my talk of gardening.
バスキア教諭と同じ花の名前、ダリアをご存知ですよね。先生ですから宣伝している。別に責めているとかじゃないんです。ただバスキア教諭に聞きたいことがありまして。先生はダリアの花の品評会には行かれたことがありますか？
Sister Basquiat makes a face as though she's about to cry and shakes her head a little. I know about them from magazines, she says.
ダリアという花は変異を起こしやすい植物のため園芸品種の中でも突出した品種数を誇り3万品種以上もあるそうです。
Now, everybody else I know in the comments was probably thinking this too, so I think we're all on the same page.
だから一般の方が新しくできた品種に被らないよう名前をつけるため変わった名前が多いそうですね。そのことですか。そうですね。私も新しい品種を作りたくて育てているんですよ。
Sister Basquiat's expression transforms into a smile, and the rest of the class seems somewhat relieved too. I turn to my classmates to address them.
アルベー・ヘイゼル、アルバロッサ、この辺りは普通の品種名ですが、変わり種で言いますと、かぐや姫、赤とんぼ、クライスラーなどのお遊びでつけたような品種名もあります。
A wave of giggles ripples through the class. I turn to Sister Basquiat once again to get to the main point.
さらに混乱させるような名前、ダリアという花でありながら、他の花の名前をつけているものもあるのです。例えば、ダリアでありながら、コスモスや赤バラなど。あ、もしかして白羽さん？そうです。ダリアの品種では他の花の名前も存在する。品種名で桜の名を持つ品種を知っていますね。桜吹雪、桜満月、桜女王。
Yes, and the dahlias that Sister Basquiat is growing,
桜狩り。
she murmurs, and I exhale. I turn to face the students who still haven't caught on.
そう八代先輩が言った桜がとの言葉は王室にあるダリアの品種。桜狩りの前で事件は起きたというセリフだったのです。だから事件の起きた場所は
I'm glad that we all actually had this figured out, like, because I was, like, everybody in the comments was like, oh, it's absolutely gotta be the greenhouse and the dahlias that are growing. There's like a sakura variety. We had all thought of this. The ripples of chatter get louder, growing into a clamor. My amitié partners beside me are also staring at me in surprise,
忙しくて
as they have done every time I've solved a case. They're looking at me like, what the fuck is even going on? I'm so grateful that, despite that, they believed in me and created this opportunity for me to reveal everything.
そうだったんだ。それじゃあスポーツタオルも。
おそらく王室での作業中に汗をかいてしまうからスポーツタオルを持参していたの。頭を怪我した時ちょうどよく持ってきてたそれで頭を押さえていたのよ。
靴についていた赤土は？
これも園芸の知識で赤土はいいリンゴが育つと
And there's apple
リン
trees!
ゴの木のそばには
ダリアの花壇があったよね。
I nod and smile at Ringo, who is suppressing a giggle at the idea of growing herself on trees. We could grow so many cute little Ringos. They would be adorable. Sister Basquiat stares, dumbfounded, as I continue.
おそらく事件当日の八代先輩の行動は温室での作業中リンゴの木の剪定中に足を滑らせダリアの花壇を区切るレンガに頭を打ちつけてしまった。これが傷跡の角材のようなもので横投げに殴られた正体です。出血を認め保健室へ向かう際に思ったよりも大量の出血だったためふらつきエントランス前で倒れ込んでしまった。桜狩りの品種名を言ったのは助けた上級生が園芸部の生徒だったからです。他にもダリアの別の品種が別の場所の花壇に植えられていますからね。しかし全て有害な気を失ってしまった。もしくはよく聞き取れていなかったか。
Or, you know, they just didn't know. They just didn't have this deep knowledge of gardening, which I think is also pretty reasonable. At this explanation of the series of events, Sister Basquiat finally regains her composure and, after a moment of contemplation, she murmurs, "That's fucking weird."
頭を怪我してなぜ桜狩りの名前を挙げたの？白羽さんの話が事実なら犯人の名前を挙げる必要もないけど場所を言う必要もないでしょ。保健室へ連れて行ってでいいわけよね。
確かにその通りだと思う。
The story seems to be lacking in logic. Wow, you read my mind there! And the suspicion is back in my classmates' eyes. I see Rika and Mayuri looking at me anxiously.
桜狩りの名前を挙げたのには理由がちゃんとあるの。
I continue.
まず誰にも助けを呼ばず保健室へ向かっていたことから八代先輩はこの怪我を大したことはないものと思っていた。それ
Ringo
温
nods.
室での作業だけれど17時から18時までの間に起きたとされているけど調べた結果当日の放課後八代先輩は料理部へ顔を出しているの。
Mm-hmm.
そして慌てた様子で部を後にした。
そうだったんだ。あの日はクラスの出し物を手伝っていたから知らなかったよ。
この話で重要なのは料理部から後寮に戻ら いで温室へ向かったということも、
Okay.
スポーツタオルを用意していたことから、
She had planned to go directly there from the start. So,
寮に戻らず
going to the
直
greenhouse
接温
directly
室へ
without
向か
looking
った
for
のだとしたら、
anything.
八代先輩は何を手に持っていたか
If
し
she
ら。
was going to the greenhouse without first returning to the dorm, like her school bag? The thing I couldn't find when I searched her room was suspicious at its absence. I found it strange that it wasn't there. The thing she had spoken with directly from the cooking club to the greenhouse was her bag. The twins say, so she was just telling people where her bag was. The twins say in unison. I nod and I call to the girl who had been keeping her silence.
お願い、八重垣さん。
All right, and for the coup de grace, please let best girl finish. Yaegaki brings her squeaky wheelchair to a stop in front of Sister Basquiat and offers her the satchel from atop her knees.
これが温室に置いてあった八代ゆずりはのカバンだ。
つまり自分の私物が
She was just trying to tell the other girl where to get her shit. That's all it was. I'm not gonna say this one was bad because I actually followed the logic on this one, and it seemed because I knew that when we couldn't find her bag, and like when Suo actually called out the bag being missing in the room, I thought, yep, that makes sense.
つまり
It was an accident the whole time. Yes, I repeat, and Sister Basquiat lets out an uncharacteristically huge sigh.
こんなことって
She's like, I didn't know how long I was going to be able to cover for this Mayuri girl. I really wanted to, but I did not know how I was going to be, how long I was going to be able to keep doing that. At first, her expression is filled with worry and regret, but at last she breaks into a smile and murmurs, thank goodness.
高坂さん、
はい。
あなたの無実は証明されました。主は
The Lord has not forsaken you. The corners of Mayuri's mouth twist at the religious phrasing, but she nods. Sister Basquiat tells the rest of the class that it is as they have heard.
アミティエである彼女たちが高坂さんに疑いを晴らしました。これからも高坂さんはクラスみんなの良き友です。
That was a good one. I'm okay with how that one turned out. I think that one was fine. I was able to follow that one. The logic worked. It makes sense how it would be an accident. I would not have been surprised if Rika would have set some bullshit up, though. Just how angry she was. Like she was clearly seething over the whole Mother Mary thing. Yes, they say in harmony. I can see the joy bursting from Rika and Mayuri as they break into smiles.
高坂さん、
あ、はい。
無実がなされたのは主の導きのおかげですが、
Oh,
あなたは本当に良き友人に恵まれました。
yes, Mayuri. Somebody here loves you a whole lot.
これほど人を、あなたを思いやって救いの手を差し伸べてくれる友人は他にはいませんよ。
はい。
She replies passionately. Then, Mayuri wraps her arms tightly around me, and for a moment, I have no idea what's going
あ
on.
りがとう、スオさん。
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so legitimately happy. I'm being so stupid. I'm not getting misty-eyed by this stupid. Oh, F off, game. Okay. That was adorable. Oh my god. Protect that precious smile. It's so nice to see her smile. Her body is as warm as a sunny spring day. I know Rika's looking on sadly, but I cannot pull myself away from her warmth, and honestly, you don't want to. Alright. What's going on? It's finally over, I whisper, looking out the window at the night sky. The truth of what really happened to Yatsushiro was revealed at the tea party. It turned out to be much ado about nothing, but the suspicion about me was cleared up with the revelation of the truth. Thanks to everyone, but mainly Ichigo, spreading the word to the upperclassmen, everyone knew about it by lunchtime. After dinner, the upperclassmen who doubted me the most came and apologized. Sister Dahlia even talked to the faculty for me. All of this, every bit of it, is thanks to Suo-san. Suo-san. I whispered the name once again in my heart. I see her and Rika floating in the darkness outside the window and remember their story. After the curtain came down on the tea party, I followed my amitié partners, who had quietly slipped away, and watched as the two of them headed down the path towards the dorms. I was so happy that the suspicions had been lifted, that they worked so hard for me, that I was about to call out to them, but something heartbreaking was about to happen. That's all I knew. It was plain to see from the expressions on their faces. What? Minding the sound of my footsteps, I drew closer to my amitié partner, whose voice was difficult to hear and whose expression suggested she was holding back pain. I heard Suo whisper as she smiled sadly. I myself can't accept my own scars. She's in the same circumstances. It was selfish of me to push for a relationship. It's natural. I deceived you, so there's no need for you to feel bad. Yes, it's what I thought. I'm sorry. A breakup. I was confused by these unexpected words. I'm the one who forced you, the one who wanted you. But after last night's confession, I couldn't say I accepted you right away, even though you were able to say it to Mayuri. I think she's getting out of the way. I think this is Rika getting out of the way for Mayuri because she knows there's something so much stronger there. The relationship was forced? What did she mean by that? I wondered in confusion. It wasn't what they both wanted? It's in the past, Suo said, and Rika whispered, right. She looked down and silence fell between them, but when she looked up, her expression was cheerful. This one's a rough one. I won't speak for Suo. I know she's probably got a kinder heart than I. I think they've done an okay job at making right on this, so I don't hate Rika as much as I had hated her for the last 2 or 3 episodes, but she's got a little work to do if she's gonna kind of fully redeem herself to me. So said with a teary smile. But I did understand that Rika and Suo had broken up. When I realized they'd broken up, the sense of loss I felt was beaten by a feeling of joy. Who was it for? Mayuri, I wonder who. Was it for Rika, who reminds me of that person? Or could it have been for Suo-san? Thinking about it now, she's helped me, not just today, but so many times before. That time during orienteering, she used her wits to come find me with my sprained leg. When I was under suspicion, she never abandoned me. I thought it was because we were amitié partners. She practiced ballet together with me, even though I was terrible at it. She worked through everything with me, every time. When I think of Suo and her ephemeral smile, it's different from how I feel toward Rika, and different from how I felt toward her. The feeling I feel toward Suo must be as cool as the night air seeps in through the window. I see myself reflected blurrily in the condensation on the window pane. The face reflected in the window. Yeah! Go for it, girl! I smile faintly at my own childlike, vulnerable face exposed in the window's reflection. I decide to put an end to this for now and head off slowly to my room. The room is dark and silent as a tomb. All I can hear is the strangely loud ticking of the second hand. No. The ritual I am about to perform is before me. There she is, hugging her pillow and breathing quietly. The first time I met Rika at the opening ceremony in the cathedral, I thought it was a miracle. It was as though the person I wanted but could never have appeared before me in a different form. Then, in another miracle, we became amitié partners, and we got to know each other. I had just shifted my mistaken love and my terrible lust and jealousy onto her. I made a substitution. I replaced that person with Rika. I knew that, but I thought I was falling for the girl that reminded me of her. But with last night's confession, it had become clear to me that I had just been turning my ego toward her. Rika had accepted the confession and stepped back. It's only natural. It would be wrong to think of it as a betrayal. That's why I need to end this now. What are you doing? You can't leave! Aww. My heart is filled with pain and strife as I feel something warm fall from my closed eyelid. Her cheek, which I touch for the first time, is terribly cold. And I get the feeling that the ticking of the second hand is telling me that this is where one story ends and another begins. All right, we're starting a new chapter and then we're going to call it. There's something in this world called transience. An atmosphere that's allowed only at that place, at that time. The world of business, from his morning commutes and after-work drinks. Such transience must certainly exist there. It also exists here at the Academy's amitié system. Yet, for same-sex relationships, we are blessed with this climate. It's the transience that occurs when isolated from society. In the end, are the ones using the system the people? Or is it the Academy itself? I know it is the end of spring in all things. I know this is transience. That's pretty lofty. If that's like the setup for a final chapter, that's pretty lofty. Something bigger than love. Yeah, I think we're going to be diving headfirst into it after all this. It is perfect, isn't it? But we will find out what is perfect when next we meet. That is a really, really good place to kind of put things to bed for now. Even for me, and being able to like take a few days away and kind of chill and hopefully get over this cold. But I think that we absolutely kind of worked through a lot there. Again, I'm not going to say that Rika is fully absolved in kind of some of the shitty things she did, but I understand it now. And I think that they're approaching the characters moving past it in what seems like a pretty reasonable way. Everybody there kind of like putting everything out there for one another. Everybody kind of knows everything about everybody now, and it's I guess this is kind of how like an MTA partnership should probably work. So yeah, and Mayuri kind of like letting go of this thing that she had in her head, like this relationship that she was projecting onto somebody who was ultimately just really terrible for her in the end. Obviously, I think putting that to bed was really nice. I think that like that gets her out of the way. Like this absolutely sets up Mayuri and Suo to get together, which I think has felt like the strongest pairing anyway. So yeah, it's pretty solid. They made a pretty good recovery there. Still gonna take me a while to get over the Rika shittiness, but I'm willing to move forward with an open mind. So gonna be taking a few days away from it. Again, I don't know that it's gonna affect the upload schedule at all, because this is just me taking a break for Christmas, but there's still like 4 other episodes in the barrel ready to upload, not counting this one, so 5 now. But yeah, I imagine within the next episode or 2, we are probably going to be wrapping this up. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.